Oh, Marvel, you just won't let us love you again, will you? Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. Marvel keeps showing signs that it's waking up and that it's abandoning the albatross of identity politics and shrugging off the MSheU once and for all. But for every rumor of Feige firing activist producers and producing things like Daredevil Born Again, we get news like the kind we got last week. Marvel has confirmed a report from back in April that it'll be going with a female version of the Silver Surfer in its upcoming Fantastic Four First Steps.
Son of a bitch!
Yup. Instead of giving us the classic Norrin Rad version of the character, who we've had in the comics for decades, we're instead apparently getting the Shala Bal version of the Silver Surfer, who appeared in 4 issues of the comics as the Surfer. It's just mind-numbingly ridiculous how thick Marvel can be sometimes. Since Endgame, when Feige lost Favreau and the Russos, we've seen his lack of creative vision on display. The man who took all the credit for the hard work of other talented people was exposed as the emperor with no clothes. And he continued to greenlight massive budget after massive budget for movies about characters that no one wanted, all to push a female-centric agenda and virtue signal to the masses.
You can't keep getting away with it!
And fans soundly rejected it. This phenomenon that's plagued Marvel since Endgame, wherein every project is led by a smirking, flawless, stunning, and brave girl boss, was dubbed the MSheU by the great nerd Roddick, and that's a title that spread like wildfire. And I think a lot of people saw Fantastic Four and the X-Men as Marvel's second chance. If they could get these 2 properties right, then maybe they can somehow get back on top. That's not happening anytime soon, though. Let's take a look at just how little Marvel has learned from the MSheU's failure today on Tooneytown TV. All right, guys, away we go. Marvel officially announces Julia Garner as female Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four First Steps. And this is an article from thatparkplace.com, the website where if you're not bookmarked there yet, well, you should be. If I could steal that line from somebody else who's infinitely more popular than me. And the article is written by me, Marvin Montanero, over here on the website where you guys should be getting all your pop culture news from. And so we are looking at, after rumors in April that Disney would cast Julia Garner as the Shala Bal female version of the Silver Surfer in the upcoming MCU film Fantastic Four First Steps, Marvel made it official yesterday with an official synopsis for the movie.
I don't care.
The synopsis reads, set against a vibrant backdrop of a 1960s-inspired retro-futuristic world, Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four First Steps introduces Marvel's first family, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, Invisible Woman, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, and Ben Grimm, the Thing, as they face their most daunting challenge yet.
Ha! Gay!
Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, they must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus, played by Ralph Ineson, and his enigmatic herald, the Silver Surfer, Julia Garner. And if Galactus' plan to devour the entire planet and everyone on it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. The action-adventure also stars Paul Walter Hauser, John Malkovich, Natasha Lyonne, Sarah Niles, and directed by Matt Shackman, produced by Kevin Feige, and executive produced by Louis Desposito. Grant Curtis and Tim Lewis. Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four First Steps opens in theaters July 25th, 2025. It seems as though the more things change, the more they stay the same for Marvel. Despite rumors out of film threat that Marvel had Kevin Feige fired activist producers and writers earlier this year, Disney Marvel seems unwilling to pivot on gender-swamped heroes and a more female-focused universe.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Back in April, an investor asked Disney CEO Bob Iger if it was possible for the company to stay out of politics and social agenda. Of course it's not, but Bob lied anyway, because that's why he's called Bob Liger. He said, our job is to entertain first and foremost, and by telling great stories, we continue to have a positive impact on the world and inspire future generations, just as we've done for over 100 years. Disney has always been and will continue to be a source of hope, joy, and optimism for people of all ages.
This is a lie.
That's not true at all. It is definitely not a source of joy for anyone. I don't think anyone feels hope when they watch Disney movies. And there's certainly no optimism in all of the morally gray nonsense that you guys roll out like The Acolyte. We're committed to telling stories that reflect the world around us. Oh, there it is. It's got to look like the world around the modern day, modern audience.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
And use those stories to entertain stories from all walks of life. I believe we have a responsibility to do good in the world. Iger ended his answer saying, but we know our job is not to advance any kind of agenda. So as long as I'm on the job, I'm going to continue to be guided by a sense of decency and respect, and we will always trust our instincts.
I have never heard so many lies in my entire life other than when I was saying them.
That is such a load of garbage. Bob Iger has done nothing but try to advance agendas, very specific agenda. Bob Iger is one of, if not the worst perpetuator of this in Hollywood. And it doesn't look like it's going to be changing anytime soon, not with this announcement. So soon as they made that statement, Deadline's Justin Kroll had reported back in April that Marvel would move ahead with the Shia LaBeouf version of Female Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four movie instead of the classic male Norrin Rad version. Now, the character of Shia LaBeouf first appeared in 1968's Silver Surfer #1. You see her right here. She was his girlfriend, basically. She was Norrin Rad's first love, and he left her on their planet Zenla after making a bargain with Galactus to spare the world. Now, his bargain was if Galactus spared Zenla, then he would become the Herald of Galactus. He would find other planets for Galactus to chow down on. He had the power cosmic at his disposal. The character did become a version of the Silver Surfer in Marvel Comics Earth X series back in 1999 and 2000, but a time in the role was very short-lived.
Olsen, help me up onto his casket so I can dance on it!
Guys, I don't understand what Marvel's doing. I really don't. Like, we have proven time and time again that we are unwilling to bend on gender swaps and bait and switches, especially when like there's so many good female characters out there that we should be getting before we start going to alternate versions of classic characters like the Silver Surfer. I mean, you killed off Black Widow, and people do though like the Florence Pugh Black Widow. I personally like her quite a bit. I actually think in some ways I like her more than Natasha. But you've also got characters like Jessica Jones, like Rogue, like Storm, like Jubilee. These are characters that people legitimately love. And as long as you write them decently and give them flaws, people will support them. They didn't like Captain Marvel because you made her a plank of wood. And then you told everyone that she was the most powerful thing in the Marvel universe and she was the bestest ever. And people don't want to hear that. They just want their characters to be normal people. Just be people like you and me, people that we can empathize with. Instead, they're just doubling down on all this mantle garbage where, you know, Victoria Alonso said that it's not the heroes themselves that matter. It's not Norrin Rad that people care about. It's the Silver Surfer. But what she doesn't realize is Norrin Rad is the Silver Surfer. Steve Rogers is Captain America. Tony Stark is Iron Man. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. They are one and the same, and you can't just take the mantle and pass it off to somebody else and expect comic fans who've been fans of these characters since they were kids to just shut up and accept it. It's not going to happen. So I'm curious as to what you guys think about this. Do you think Marvel is ever going to learn its lesson? Do you think this might be a speed bump? Do you think we might actually get the Norrin Rad version of Silver Surfer? I mean, this Fantastic Four movie takes place on an alternate version of Earth, so it's possible if Galactus does show up in the normal 626 universe, we might get regular Silver Surfer as his herald in that film. So that would be very interesting to see. I don't know how realistic of an expectation that might be, but it's possible that it's something we can see. And guys, am I not seeing something here? Am I looking at this in a way that's wrong? If I am, let me know. I'm not so stubborn in my beliefs that a well-reasoned argument can't sway me. So let's have a conversation about it. Sound off in the comment section below and let me know what you think about the Shia LaBeouf Silver Surfer coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Disney bought Marvel because there was a need within the company that had to be addressed. Disney had dominated the market for girl brands with the Disney Princess line, but they had nothing for boys. They tried with Pirates, but it just wasn't happening. Boys didn't really care about Pirates as a brand. So Disney made two huge purchases. It bought Star Wars and Marvel. These were supposed to be the quintessential boy brands meant to sell movie tickets, move toys, and excite a whole new generation. But then something really weird happened. Marvel was the biggest boy brand in the world, but Star Wars seemed to be trying to turn itself into a girl brand. But that made no sense. Star Wars had always been a brand for boys. Sure, there are women who liked it, and others who went to see the movies with their boyfriends and found enjoyment, but the vast majority of the fans were male.
Fools! Idiots! Imbeciles!
It was a colossal failure. And then Disney repeated the same mistake with Marvel. Feige, backed by activist producer Victoria Alonso, sought to take the MCU that everyone loved and reshape it into the horror we see before us today. But you could almost overlook the mistake if they had learned from it. Gender swaps and bait and switches were getting them nowhere. And I think a lot of people thought that Feige had gotten the message. But then we got a major gender swap here, and you gotta wonder what the hell they're doing over there. Are they just doubling down on failure? Why do they keep doing this, and why does Disney continue to allow it? The only answer I can come up with is that Disney, for whatever reason, is no longer in the business of making money. They're willing to destroy their two biggest evergreen brands to pander and virtue signal to a non-existent modern audience. And after years of buying $5 Coke Zeros at the parks, I never thought I'd see the day when Disney turned down money. But here we are, and the female Silver Surfer, be she Shalabal or some new character, is arriving to herald the destruction of the MCU. But it's not Galactus coming to consume it, it's Kevin Feige and the Disney C-suite.
Imbeciles!
Thanks for joining us today, and a huge thanks to our Tooneytown TV channel members. You guys are the glue that holds this channel together, and for that, you're given special perks like early access to videos and our special members-only live stream every Monday. That's a new day, by the way, at 3 p.m., a new time. So make sure you mark that Mondays at 3 p.m. now for the Tooneytown TV members-only live stream. So if you're not a member of the Tooneytown TV channel, join today. And of course, I hope you'll join Kev, Trish, and I every Thursday night at 8 p.m. EST for Tooney Talk TV, our live stream pop culture podcast where you can interact with me directly and make your voices heard as a part of the Tooneytown community. If you like what you saw here today, please like, share, and subscribe. Click that bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. From all of us here at the Tooneytown channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!